So I'm going to introduce the next speaker. They will be talking about the Youth Fire Setter Maryland Update and Resources. Speaker is Christina Impallaria. Okay, that's a fun name. So she is a public education specialist. She's from Anne Arundel County Fire Department, and her current work is a program manager, the Youth Fire Setter Program Manager, Community Outreach Public Education Specialist, and has a Master of Science as well.
Okay. So again, I'm Christina Impallaria. I'm from Anne Arundel County Fire Department, and I'm going to give you a little bit of update about youth fire setting and kind of where we stand as a state overall, and then just some basic information in case you're not familiar with youth fire setting in general.
Is there anybody in here that holds any of those certifications? Please let us know. Anybody?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So notice by the lack of hands that this might not necessarily be all good news. So again, I'm Christina Impallaria. I'm the public education specialist. I do all the education for Anne Arundel County Fire Department, all their scheduling, going out to schools, all that good stuff. I'm also the program manager for the Youth Fire Setter program. So that is anyone under 18 who has any history with fire. We have a program. It can be in lieu of charges. It can be if we can't charge them at all, and they can come and kind of learn about fire and fire safety in hopes that they'll not play with fire again or misuse fire again. Before I worked for the fire department, I was a teacher. I'm certified by the state of Maryland in special education, reading, physical education, and health education. So I have a variety of backgrounds, particularly when it comes to youth. And you'll see when I talk about different types of youth fire setters, how this special education and health background in particular can come in handy. So the problem overall. So these are just some basics NFPA statistics from 2014 through 2018. The new statistics are not out yet. So this is just an overview of what kind of we were looking at previously. Okay. So on average, fire departments are going to run over like 30,000 fire calls a year, which are playing with fire. So all of those are going to be youth fire setter instances. So we're talking about a little bit over 30,000 a year. And that is in this time frame. I would strongly guess that that number has gone up since 2018. About 70% of these fires did not involve structures. We'll see, especially with youth fire setters, a lot of them are going to be outside. Just means of opportunity, outside playing with friends, things like that. It's going to be a lot of those kind of fires. And then about a quarter of those are structure fires. So hopefully you can see this. One thing, so this is structure fires, so home fires. And one thing I want to really make note of is the highest numbers are going to be in the 5 years and younger and the 6 to 10. So kids who are under 10 years old. So we can go to schools and we can educate these kids, correct? For the most part, right? But who is more important to educate for this age group? The parents, okay? And these are the fires where we're seeing deaths, okay? So these are most likely going to be curiosity fires, which I'll talk about later. But these are the instances where people are getting trapped in the home because it's a kid who's curious, who's playing with matches, playing with fire. The parents are unprepared or don't know it's happening. And then somebody gets trapped in the home and there's fatalities, okay?
The juvenile fire center is being dying, or is it another person in the family that's dying?
Different. It depends. There was a fire, I believe it was January 2020 or 2021 in Philly, and 12 people were killed in the home after, it was a multifamily residence, a row home in Philadelphia. 12 people were killed in the home. There was only 2 survivors, and that was the 5-year-old who set the fire and one brother who was in the house. Everybody else in the house perished, adults and children. So it varies. Sometimes it's the child themselves. Sometimes the child is the one who knows what's happening.
Wasn't that the Christmas tree?
That was the Christmas tree, yep. He was up by himself after the family had gone to bed. He was playing with a lighter that he found on the table. It was, again, January, so the Christmas tree had dried out. The Christmas tree set on fire. He was able to get out. An older sibling jumped out of a window. Everybody else in the home died. So in that instance, I believe he was 5 or 6. He did have burn injuries, but he knew, obviously, that he started a fire and was able to get out. He was not in time to alert anyone else in the household. So for these, well, just a kind of basic idea, it's mostly going to be lighters and matches that are played with in the home. So again, it's going to be educating those smaller children, tools versus toys, and educating the parents about the safety of putting away their lighters. I always tell people when I'm talking about this, if I walked into my mother's house today, I would open the junk drawer and I would find a variety of candle lighters and matches and all kinds of stuff, and she doesn't smoke. And whether I was 5 or whether I'm 30 like I am now, I know exactly where they are, and I've always known where they are. Because at some point in my childhood, my mom probably told me, go into the junk drawer and get that for me, I need it. Now, did I ever set fires with it? Not that I'm going to tell you guys about. But I shouldn't have known that as a 5-year-old. So, and I definitely did, 100%. So these are things that we can educate parents about.
Teresa, under Bernard, didn't he go after the novelty lighters because kids
Yeah,
were
we
getting
tried
toys?
3 years to get the novelty lighters passed. We even had a state senator actually light himself on fire and burn his wrist and thumb, and they still would not pass it. So we did a 3 strikes, we tried, and we've never brought it back.
Luckily, I know for a fact that I have been carded for a lighter, even when I was much older than 18. So it does happen occasionally, but it's been a while. So these fires that are in the home, the structure fires, most of them are going to start in the child's bedroom. They're by themselves, they're playing with whatever they have available to them, and then it causes the fire. Bathrooms also happen frequently. It's a place to kind of hide whatever they're doing, as well as closets. So this is, I feel like I might have skipped a slide. Oh no, it's coming up. Okay, so the first, I'm going to show you a video, and this is a TikTok challenge. So one thing that we talked about when I was in the program at the National Fire Academy, which I will talk more about later, is social media has contributed to the increase in these fires. I know personally when I was a teacher, I had kids who were putting hand sanitizer on their hands and lighting themselves on fire. Not a smart move. The alcohol burns up incredibly quickly, and then they're left with burning hands. And I've also seen that when I was teaching go onto the clothes because they got it on their clothes and then they're playing with fire. I saw another TikTok, which is not the same as this one, where kids were lighting matches just over and over and over again until it got so hot that it started to burn. And then what you saw was a bunch of kids dropping them and lighting things on fire because they're dropping the hot lighter.
Was severely burned after doing the so-called TikTok fire challenge. In the past, social media platforms has faced major backlash, with experts saying the app is targeting kids, pushing specific content to users. 13 News reporter Alex Valdez spoke with the boy's mother and shares her desperate message for other parents.
He is very much a boy's boy. He is very much an outside boy. He wants to be outside playing.
Just 10 days after Corey Reed's 12th birthday, his natural curiosity became his mother's worst nightmare.
I wake up to just a blood-curdling scream. I just see my son on fire, and I flooded my kitchen because I took the hose and just sprayed him down as quickly as I could.
Roper believes her son became a victim.
Oh no. Well.
Roper believes her son became a victim.
Okay. Okay, never mind. So this one was the alcohol challenge with the hand sanitizer. So put hand sanitizer on his hands, and you'll, if you watch the news story, it shows actually a video of the challenge happening correctly, quote unquote, where they put hand sanitizer on their hand, they light it on fire with a match. It looks like they have a cool like glove on that's like on fire, and then all the alcohol burns away, and then their hand starts to burn. And in this instance, he had gotten that hand sanitizer on his shirt and his clothes. So when he started to shake, because his hand was burning, it got onto his shirt, and then it burned his chest. And you'll also see him in the hospital in the burn center because of those burns on his chest. So just an example of kind of where some of these ideas are coming from. It's not just, there is curiosity fires. There's fires because kids are in crisis. And again, I'll talk about some reasons that these fires are occurring. But social media definitely, and I'm back to the beginning, can be a contributing factor. And they're not always alone. I've definitely had cases where I've had 3 kids at once because they were outside playing together, and then all 3 of them ended up with me because they got caught on like somebody's Ring camera or something. So it's not always an isolated incident with one child. Sometimes it's a group of kids who are playing and doing things together. So the first item ignited, again, they're usually in the bedroom, so it's going to be a mattress or bedding. A lot of paper and trash fires, just out of convenience and simplicity. Clothing, furniture, outdoor fires, and vegetation. And then there is a small percentage that use like any kind of flammable liquid.
Would that include, with the vegetation, would that include like a brush fire?
Yes. Yes.
Because I know in the past, 2 days, in Charles County, we've had as many as 4 back-to-back brush fires. So the crews leave one, have it out, and get sent for another one.
Yeah. Yep. And like when I had the 3 kids who did it together, they started a fire in a park. They got scared and they put it out. Luckily, they had water bottles around and they got afraid and they put it out. But it was during the summer, it was incredibly dry and they could have easily spread because it was a very small park and there was a lot of other vegetation nearby, which is why our fire investigation got a hold of them and made sure they came to me. So these are the non-structure fires, and you'll see with this one, this is what we see the most, and that's going to be the 6 to 17, mostly middle school age. Youth fire setters most of the time are going to be middle school age. The difference here is there's usually less injuries when it's a non-structure fire. So the little kids, less instance overall that they're actually setting these fires, but they are more dangerous. these non-structure fires end up being less dangerous, but a lot more frequent. And then these are just other fires. We have seen a vehicle fire in Anne Arundel County that was set by a teenager intentionally with the intent to harm, so that does happen. Sometimes it is what we call criminal or delinquent, where they're either trying to cover a crime or they are doing things with the intent to harm others. So, it's quite fitting that I'm going after the last presentation that talked about school and active shooter drills because, which is not on this slide, I should have added it, the Secret Service and the FBI last year did a study on active shooters. In every case at the time that they looked at in that study, they all had fire setting behavior in their past. Every single one. So, this is a huge issue and it's extremely dangerous, especially when it comes to schools. I've had, you'll see when I get to another slide, I've had 20 cases of youth fire setting in Anne Arundel County last year. 4 or 5 of those were in schools. One of those I actually received from DOD because it was a threat to blow up a school, and I got the kid. So it is happening. It happens quite frequently, and schools can be the target. And we need to get these kids as soon as we can into youth fire setting programs, so hopefully it doesn't escalate to that, or at least get them on the radar of our fire investigation, fire marshal's office, whatever we have, so it does not escalate. So during 2014 through 2018, there was 1 civilian death in a youth fire set at a school, 39 injuries, and over $37 million in property damage. Some of these fires were set intentionally. A lot of them in schools are set intentionally, and most originate in the bathroom or locker room. 2 of mine were in the school bathroom, so that holds up. We can try and watch this video.
That intense fire that destroyed a Providence triple-decker. Now, the story was first breaking last night on Eyewitness News. More than a dozen people managed to get out after a fire broke out in their Dayball Street home. Now, investigators say one of the children who escaped the flames was also the one who started them. Eyewitness News reporter Shantae Lance is live in our newsroom now with the details she's uncovered.
My name is Shannon. I was on scene late last night of that house fire, and arson investigators just confirmed to us that it all started with a child literally playing with fire. 13 people, mostly children, escaped this raging fire unharmed Sunday night.
I'm thankful that we all got out safe.
Nicola Sarlo lived on the 3rd floor. This mother of 4 says she immediately grabbed her young children.
I ran down the front steps.
Monday, arson investigators tell Eyewitness News the fire started on the 1st floor from a child playing with a lighter inside a closet. Sarlo says her neighbor living on the 1st floor told her why the child picked up the lighter.
Because he said he wanted to be warm.
An innocent intention turns into a total loss of a Providence family's home.
I lost everything.
And authorities say a firefighter also broke his foot. Battling that blaze, he was rushed to Rhode Island Hospital. Reporting live in the newsroom, Shantae Lance, Eyewitness News.
So just an example of a youth set fire. Luckily, one that did not result in any loss of life. So the National Fire Academy has a program. In the last 4 years, these are the counties that have sent people to that program. if your county is not on there, please take note of that, because that is not a lot. So Mike Weller is literally the best of the best when it comes to youth fire setting. He is the end all be all, the top, like, he's just absolutely unreal when it comes to his knowledge. He is from Hagerstown. If you're familiar with any of their programs in Hagerstown, they have a whole town that students go to where they actually walk through a house that's been burned down. They see a video presentation of how the fire started. They actually picked up an actual house from a fire, brought it to this secondary location, and they have a whole fire safety village. It's incredible. They will, if anybody ever wants to go and look at it, you should. They'll absolutely love to have you. Every second grade class goes, and then I think they go again when they're a little bit older, maybe 8th grade. So they get 2 chances to go through. They walk through this house. It's like 20 years old that they've had this fire safety village, and you could still, it still smells like smoke. Like, it's still, you can tell. So he is the program manager for the NFA, and he's exceptional. There's different course options. So there's a 6-day course, which I would highly recommend. It's Youth Fire Setter Prevention and Intervention. So you're going to learn about tools and tips for the school portion of it, and what you can do for the education side in schools, in community events, out in the public, but then also what you can do to have a youth fire setter program for those kids who have already started fires, okay, and had fire misuse incidences. There's a 2-day course, which you'll get just for the intervention side of it. So instead of the education for the general public, it's just dealing with the youth fire setters themselves. Then there's an interviewing course, that's 2 days. And then there's a program manager course. So basically those 3 2-day courses make up that 6-day course. It's just broken up. What's amazing about the 6-day course is there is a facility, I believe it's in Maryland or Pennsylvania. It's called Abraxas, Pennsylvania. Okay, it's called Abraxas, and they take very serious cases of youth that have been in trouble in some kind of way with fire or other offenses, and you get to interview them. So that's how you practice your interviewing, is on those kids who have actually been in this facility and been in this program because they have some kind of juvenile history with fire, and it is incredible. So highly, highly recommend. In the last 4 years, according to the NFA, they just told us which counties have attended. Howard County has sent people, Anne Arundel County, Annapolis City, Prince George's County, Hagerstown, and the State Fire Marshal's Office. Okay. So there are 23 counties in Maryland. I did not list off 23 counties that have sent people for these programs. Currently, we know for a fact Howard County has a program, Anne Arundel County has a program, Annapolis City has a program, Baltimore City has a program, Washington County has a program, and the Maryland State Fire Marshal's Office is in development of their program for the jurisdictions that they will represent. Okay? Counties that do not have a program, Baltimore County does not have a program. Prince George's County no longer has a program. You might have seen that they attended the NFA, but they took their specialist and put him back in the field. So they no longer have a program. Frederick County does not have a program. Montgomery County does not have a program. So just like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these slides, but basically these are what each county that does for sure have a program do and how it kind of looks. So the contact for Howard County is up there. One thing to note about Howard County is she will take cases from outside of Howard County. So she has had cases from Baltimore County, Carroll County, Hartford County, and she will take them, but they have to come to her in Howard County. She does 3 one-hour sessions. Parent or guardian must be present for all sessions, which is pretty typical. And me and Christina work very closely together and have kind of worked on developing our programs kind of hand in hand. That's a QR code to their website. She is also in the fire investigation. So you'll find that a lot of people who run these programs do something else that is not their only job. She is fire investigation, and her kind of side job within her job is to run the Youth Fire Setter program. So our program in Anne Arundel County, that's me, that's my email. Feel free to jot that down or take a picture if you have any questions. We get referrals from our Fire Investigation Bureau, also from Juvenile Justice. I had 20 referrals in 2023, and of those 24 completed the program, which is not good. So it is very difficult to, especially with the new juvenile laws, to get kids and parents to buy in and to complete this program. I do keep records on my own of all the kids who come through. So I have those records that I share with Fire Investigation. But if they move, if they leave counties, I know for a fact one of mine moved to Baltimore County, but they don't have a program. So I don't know who to tell that they have a Youth Fire Setter now. Okay. I also do 3 one-hour sessions just to delve into mine a little bit because I know the most about it. The first session is an interview. I interview the parents and kids separately. That's the only time they are separated, and I always have a fire investigator with me at that time. They have a workbook that they have to take home, and it has to be completed by their final session in their own handwriting. And it consists of home fire safety, some general information, how much it costs for us to run our engines and all that kind of good stuff. I do a PowerPoint that has stress management techniques, optional hobbies and stuff. You'll find a lot of these kids are bored and they say that's why they do it. So what can you do instead? And then I also go over all the state laws regarding fire setting. Other than when I get a kid, I do not know how we're tracking kids who set fires until they come to me. Because I know I'm tracking them, but as a county, I don't know how they're tracked through FIB or anything like that. And I do work with our FIB very closely. And I do not accept any referrals from other jurisdictions, really because it's just me in my office doing all the community engagement and community outreach. And when I have these kids as well, I just don't have time.
Christina and I are taking the other referrals right now for the other locations.
Yes.
So we're handling this.
So Annapolis City, we have Lieutenant Williams. They have a PowerPoint as well. It covers different fire safety. They track to their fire marshal's office. Again, a lot of this is going to be the same. They receive referrals sometimes from me because we're so close together. The fire marshal's office, fire investigation, and juvenile services, and the classes are dependent on youth need. Washington County has a very in-depth program. Again, I would highly recommend you check it out. And I need to talk to them because I do not understand this statistic at all. 40 out of their 55 kids last year completed the program, which is insane to me. Also, Anne Arundel County is probably like 3 times the size of Washington County, and I had 20 referrals. So am I missing kids? Definitely, 100%. I'm not getting all of them. I know that. I've been in contact with our fire investigation. They know that, and we're trying to figure out where's the disconnect here, because I'm obviously missing kids. They will accept from other jurisdictions if you're nearby. They do 1 2 to 3 hour session. They also go into the families' homes, which is something I do not do, and I don't believe Howard County or Annapolis City does. They actually do a home fire safety check in the home. So Baltimore City also has a program. They do a 3-hour Saturday session, and they might do more than one session depending on the need of the child and the family. One thing that Baltimore City can definitely be given a double thumbs up for is they are very tight with the school system. They get a lot of referrals from the school system. They're in the schools doing programs. So they get a lot more response, I think, from the school system than I know for a fact that I do. So that's very good. Their program, though, is just starting back up. You'll find, you might find if you look into this that your county had a program and then somebody retired and it just kind of fell off to the wayside and now nobody does it. So now you have nothing in your county. And that's pretty typical. When I took over this program, it was kind of being handled. It was passed around to a bunch of different people. There was no SOGs or SOPs when I took over the program. And you'll find that, with most counties. Prince George's didn't have a program. They got their program, and now it's gone again. So it's constantly changing. So one thing, if you do want to start a program, you should establish some SOPs for your program, and that way if you leave or retire, then it's there for whoever's next. So the State Fire Marshal's Office covers most of the smaller counties or counties that are more volunteer. But if you're a volunteer county, you can still create your own program with your county. You do not have to go through the State Fire Marshal's Office. It would probably behoove you.
We'll take all the help we want.
Yeah, it'll probably be better if you start your own program. So highly encouraged. If you're curious, these are your districts. The State Fire Marshal's Office is revamping their program right now, and they've sent 4 people.
Yeah, we're doing it, but we have 4 new people that are in Western, North, and Lower and Eastern Shore. So the Southern region, I'm handling the Southern region too. So I'm sending somebody for the Southern region next class.
So if you are in one of these counties and you have a youth fire setter, you can contact Baltimore City, you can contact Howard County, you can contact Washington County because they will take from outside of the county, or you can contact the State Fire Marshal's Office, or you could start your own program, which I would highly recommend. So types of fire setters, curiosity, which this is going to be the most typical. I was bored, so I set a fire. Literally #1 response I get from these kids. Or my friend did it, so I wanted to do it. Or I saw a TikTok video, that would fall into this curiosity. I have seen Troubled in Crisis. One of my most recent ones, I don't even want to think about the things that he had to deal with. And when he told me he was angry and he was setting fires, I was like, I mean, I don't blame you, bud. Straight up. Like, it was atrocious. So that does happen. Luckily for that kid, his father was like on top of it because he knew about everything that was going on. And he had already had plenty of outside care and therapy and stuff like that. So the program that I was doing was just kind of an extra cherry on top of all the other help he was getting. But that's not always the case. I also had a mother who called CPS on herself because she couldn't control her own child and she didn't know what to do. And then I was on the phone with Mike Weller from NFA, basically in tears, like, I don't know how to help this kid. I don't know what to do. Like, this is way outside of my limits. So it does happen. Criminal, like I talked about the car fire. Sometimes they're covering up crimes. Sometimes they're just in a lot of trouble. And sometimes we can't take the cases. I also had a case where It was a 17-year-old. He assaulted someone with a deadly weapon and later started a fire to cover up a different assault. So that's not my case. That's way out of my league. I'm not taking it. And that's okay. Everyone has to know their limits, and that's totally fine. And then there's emotionally disturbed or pathologically setting fires. And this is a kid who's fire obsessed, and they're going to be the most dangerous in most cases. This is a kid who is fixated completely on fire. And this is a very rare instance. I've never had a kid like this, luckily, but it does happen. And these are the kids who we need to watch out for doing other stuff, like school shooters. So tying back in again to schools, I have another video which is kids who are getting bullied and they tried to set the school on fire on purpose. You'll find that a lot of school fires are either going to fall into that curiosity or that troubled range. Either they're mad about something, or they've been hurt or upset by somebody at the school, or they're just goofing off with friends. Either way, obviously extremely dangerous because it's happening in a school building. So some red flags, kids being bullied, kids who are going through crisis, kids who are just seen out and about with matches and lighters or are comfortable with matches and lighters. You also might notice your kid wants a bunch of Axe, right? Body spray. What are they doing with that? They're making little torches. And I see somebody laughing because I did that. My brother did that. Was it extremely dangerous and stupid? Yes. But did we do it? Also, yes. Should we have done it? No. And if I didn't know where my mom's lighter drawer was, maybe I wouldn't have been doing that. Okay? And then withdrawal from friends and school activities. These can also be warning signs for other stuff too, so it's just something to keep track of. I'll see if this video will pop up. This is not the right link. This is also a rarity. It was 3 girls. Or no, sorry, 2 girls and a boy. Usually it's going to be males.
Investigators say kids even determined who would live and who would die. NBC News team identified outside the school in the South Fort Myers, talking with parents who are grateful these kids were caught before anything bad happened.
Brave is the word that the school is using to describe the children who came forward about what happened. But I can tell you this, one of the kids even explained that her classmate threatened to set her on fire if she snitched. Conspiring to set part of 6 Mile Charter Academy on fire led to lockup for these 11-year-old students.
They're children, but we take every threat serious.
But before this potentially played out, classmates of Amnia Magoo, Isabella Brainerd, and Tristan Carrasquillo foiled it.
I just always tell my son to do the right thing.
In this case, that's exactly what some students chose to do. After overhearing the plot to set a bathroom on fire, the classmates told the school administration.
I know if he had been in that situation, he would have been one of those students to go forward and say, hey, I heard this. He wouldn't have let that go if he heard something like that.
The arrest report says the dean of students found a lighter in Magoo's backpack and 2:30 written on their hands, the time the 3 planned to meet up.
It's important that everyone pays attention to the flags here.
In a statement, Magoo is accused of admitting a motive. The plan was for the whole 2nd floor to burn, and the rude people would die in the fire. She would then run downstairs to report the fire so the younger children could be evacuated.
Thankful that they did say something and keep the students safe.
The children right now are being held at a detention center. I can also tell you a statement was sent from the school to parents today explaining that the likelihood of these children returning back here is not anticipated. Reported by
All right. So I saw a lot of shock, right? Oh wait, what the heck?
Getting the students to leave the confines of their home.
There we go. I saw a lot of shock, a lot of like, oh my gosh, that could easily happen here. I mean, it could, 100%. Bathrooms were always an issue when I was a teacher. I was at one school where kids were not allowed to go to the bathroom without an escort from an adult to walk them to and from the bathroom. And that is because kids were meeting up and beating the crap out of other kids in the bathroom. And they would set times when they knew they could get away with it. And they did just like those kids. And this is elementary school, okay? They would do just like those kids, and they would pick a time, write it down, all, you know, pick the same time, and they would go to the bathroom, and then they would beat up some other kid who they knew was going to be in there, right? Elementary school. So could a middle schooler or high schooler come up with this? Yeah. Could they make it way more elaborate and way worse? Yes. Okay? So just, you know, this is why we want every single one of your counties to have your own program, right? And then we can all meet up and talk about our programs and make sure we have information going across county lines. So when I have a kid who moves to another county, I can call up whoever's the program manager and say, hey, just as a FYI, I think you need to let your fire investigation know I have one coming to you. That's important. Go talk to your school system so they can keep an eye out for this kid, because they didn't set the fire in school, so it's not going to be on their school record. But we know, right? So we can let them know. Just NFPA or NFPA code. Every county is going to be different. I find that in our county, the schools want to handle things internally, and they don't love telling me what's going on, which is a problem. Okay, so you need contacts in schools, things like that. These are easy to look up. You guys know this stuff. So back to that vision. We want a uniform program under the State Fire Marshal's office. Christina from Howard County was actually supposed to do this presentation. She's getting married today, which is why she's not. Super understandable, okay? But the reason this all started is because I had so many kids. I think I got slammed and I got 9 kids just all at the same time, all from different fires, and it just was a bad month, I guess, in Anne Arundel County. So I was looking up other counties that had stuff. In Annapolis City already had a bunch of kids of their own, and I was passing along to them. And then I found Christina in Howard County, and I was like, well, I need help. Like, what do you have? What can we do? So we got together and we laid out both of our programs. I took stuff from her program. She took stuff from my program. We made a Google Drive, and now we share everything. And then we brought Tony into it, so we all were together and all talking about it. And then we said, we got to take this a little further, and we got to reach out to the State Fire Marshal's office, because it can't just be us 3. There's no way. There's got to be more people. And then we spent time calling other counties and figuring out, do you have a program? Do you not have a program? Checking other fire department websites to see what we could find. So our goal is to have a uniform program for every single county in Maryland. So we just have, and it, like, take mine. You can have my program. You can take it. If you want it, you can have it. I will give it to you. I will put you on the drive. You can use my entire workbook. You can have my PowerPoint with all my slides. Go for it. You don't have to do anything except take the program that I'm literally giving you hand packaged as someone who wrote curriculum as a teacher. You can have it, okay? Because it's important, and being on the school side of it, I don't want this to progress to schools. I want to get these kids when they're young, and I want to get them through the program. And then once we develop a state program, we could just have a program at the state fire marshal's office. So if somebody retires and we know that someone new is coming in, we just hand them the program. Here you go, take it. You're next up. Follow, here's our standard operating procedures. Here's all our information. Take it, run with it. Let's go. Okay? Hopefully we can get to that point. And then once we get to that point, we can keep better statistics. So I can say, hey, my kid moved to your county, just a little heads up, you might want to remember this name or tell your fire investigators, okay? I don't know where they live, but you might want to find that out, right? Someone can say to me, oh man, this kid, he got in trouble in school for lighting a big fire, and we lost him, but we think he's in Anne Arundel County now, so you might want to keep an eye out. Okay, cool, now I know. So hopefully we can get to that point, and hopefully I would love to be at a point where we have a state database, where we just have all these kids until they turn 18, so we know and we can just get on and look. Because if they already went through the program in my county, they don't need to go to the program in your county, they need to be charged, right? Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to go way, way back to the slide with my email.
Can you go back to the one from Mike Weller real quick?
I think that was first. Hold on. Yes.
Okay, so in November at Mid-Atlantic, because we're now 2 days this year, we're going to be introducing it. The 3rd and 4th, the Youth Fire Center Intervention Specialist course will be offered at that program. So we will be doing track training specifically for this. There are 16 hours of prerequisites that have to be completed.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
We're going to give that to us. We're going to get everybody in. Now there is a cost this year because we took a big hit last year. We had 338 people register for Mid-Atlantic and 112 people didn't show up. So that's a lot of money. So this year, and I'm working a scheme, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm asking for money through appropriations through the Treasury for the MSFA because I have to put my budget together. And if I have the ability, we're trying to find out how I can do this because meals are included, and I use the creative words that Cindy likes to use when she uses her words for food. We would be able to pay you the ability to go to that program, but you would have to prepay because that's a request of that grant, and then you would be reimbursed. And we could include hotel rooms in that also. So a hotel room at the BWI Marriott is $147 a night. So not bad because I paid $400 for one speaker last year, so I'm good on that. So more information's coming, but Weller has given us the full 2 days, and that'll be Sunday and Monday. And this is a great way if you don't have the program and you can't go to the academy, you have this opportunity in November to do this.
Is he teaching it?
Yes, he is.
Oh my gosh, you have to go. He is the most amazing man. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you have the opportunity to ever meet him or take his classes or even just watch him speak like I did, please do it. He is exceptional. And when I say I have called him for help, I have called him. I've texted him, and then at 6 o'clock at night, when he's supposed to be home relaxing, he's like, how can I help you with this kid? Okay, so he is an exceptional resource, and not many people would do that. He's amazing.
That's Sunday, November 3rd, Monday, November 4th.
Yes.
Okay.
Monday this year. It's our 65th anniversary of Mid-Atlantic Life Safety Conference. And what better way to make the 65th going forward? We have an opportunity. And again, once I get my final words from Sarnke and how we're able to do this grant through appropriate. So my fire prevention money comes from appropriations from the state. They've given us a lot of money for the last couple of years. And this is one thing that I'm asking for us to do. I can put, I think up to 25 or 30 people in that class. If I can do more, I will. But you have to pay up front and then you get reimbursed. And you literally pay it, and then Sarniki will write you a check in like a couple of days. Like, he's really fast about doing that. So please sign up.
So I'm going to put up Howard counties again because, again, me and Christina really kind of got the Christina squared, as we like to call each other, got this ball rolling. So this is her information. Again, she will take people from other counties. So if you're in a county and you're close enough to Howard and you don't have a program yet, but you have a kid who you like, you can send them to her. Okay, and because she can get overtime, unlike me, her hours are a lot more flexible. Okay, and that's another reason I don't take kids from outside of the county, because I'm doing it on my own time, not paid time. So if you want her contact info, this is my contact info again. So if you have questions or you think of something after this, or you're like, hey, I kind of want to start a program, can I actually have all your information? I'm going to add you to the Google Drive, okay? We have a Youth Fire Setter regional team. We've had people from New Jersey, Virginia, where else? Rhode Island. Did somebody from Rhode Island come or something?
Online they did.
Okay, Rhode Island, I think, and then all over the state. The ones that we have who come 4 times a year and talk about our programs. And last time we spent a lot of time focusing on how do we make kids finish the program. So if you're interested and you don't know where to start, we could have a whole one of those meetings. I think we have another one in June, and we could tell you how to start here in June. July. Here in July during a weekday. So come here. If you let us know ahead of time, we'll tell you how to start a program. We can teach you how to do it before you even get to the NFA class. Okay? Yes?
So I have a question for both. Teresa, so recognizing a program that is not recognized within the counties that have the fire investigation and the fire marshal's office.
Yeah.
So by taking the 2-day,
Yeah.
does that give the individual of the counties the recognition through the state fire marshal's office? The question I would have is, so you go take this class, you try to start a program, you've got to start doing this.
Yeah.
What gives you the authority to do that? Or, because people's going to ask, you know what I'm saying? Is this going to be something that the state fire marshal is the hook?
Yeah.
And then the umbrella would be the count, you know, we would work underneath the umbrella of.
Yeah.
It's like in my county, I took the 2-day course up to NFA, and it's like, it went on the back burner. What, 2 days don't make you an expert.
That's kind of
And he
what I
writes
was
the
getting
program. The what?
He writes the program.
Well, the program manager, I am the state's program manager.
Okay.
Okay, so I have all the classes. And every couple of years, I actually take I take them again.
Sure.
Because it just brings technology change and all those other stuff. So it gives you the ability to start talking to the kids. So here's the problem that we have in the state. We cannot arrest a child for arson right now. That is a huge problem because they took it away. And I have more power as a civilian than our investigators do.
Wow.
So we have worked our program away that you talk to these kids. And the word interventionist and all this other stuff, that brings it in. You think you're going to hammer it in. I have one child. I'm having a hard time with him. Like, I'm literally ready to punch somebody else, but I can't because I'm going to have Brad talk to the kid because he doesn't like me. All right, well, and he's lying to the DGS guy. I'm like, I have all the text messages that he's done. So, yes, there is ways that you have this ability, and then you work with us. We have the different investigators to do that aspect. And then it's really about talking to the children and understanding them. Rocky, one of the fire marshals, Rocky, he actually works with, and I was going to bring that to you guys. He works with a program in Hartford Cecil that is peer mediation for kids. And he's going to get one of their specialists to help us. Because some of that is an aspect of support. And I said, we need this on board. And then the AG's office, we have a new colonel. So that's why we're revamping our program to really think about what we need to do. But start with these programs. It gives you the awareness that you need, and you help us. And that's what we're trying to do. We need the people to help us because we're stretched thin, but the more people we have in the state to help us, the better programs it is. Did you have something to add to him? Did I talk too much?
I mean, my job title is public education specialist. However, we had a firefighter who was doing the youth fire setter program when he was available in the evenings, and then he was retiring, so they needed somebody else to do the program, and I have a background in education, so they were just like, here, you do it now. It is not, my captain was in FIB, so it's something that she is passionate about, but it is not something that I get a lot of support with. It was like pulling teeth to get a fire investigator to come with me to every meeting when I'm alone with kids who are going through the juvenile justice system and their parents. And I had to really put my foot down and be like, I'm not being alone with these kids and their parents because it's a liability issue. Are you crazy? And to think that I really had to fight for that is insane. So it's not easy to get this stuff done. I'm not saying it is, but if you take the courses and you show an initiative, you can say to whoever your volunteer chief is or whoever you have available, do it at your station, right? If you're a volunteer and you're at your station and your volunteer chief says you can start the program, do it. And then the next station over is going to hear about your program, and if they find out about a kid, they're going to send them to you. And then maybe you're running the county program eventually. We just want to get people to start or at least take initiative to learn, so it's not just our small group. And the state fire marshal office, if you're one of those counties that they're representing, then their job is to literally help you do it and be your umbrella. Any other questions about any of it? Or questions for me? My favorite color is yellow. Okay.
Well, Christine, this is on our behalf.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Teresa.
All right, so Cindy, do you want to take